Ladies and gentlemen, we have met here today to look at the necessity of waking the state from its slumber so that we can wipe off politics and politicians from our society in order to build a better Ghana for the generation that will come. This is because we don't need political parties to build Ghana. However, I'm of a view that if the state wake up and take its full responsibility as a state, it will also enable the people to see and understand their responsibilities as citizens of the nation. Ghana handed over power of the nation to the political parties with the hope of making Ghana a better place. Rule of the nation to political parties with the hope of making Ghana a better place to live in and not to survive like most of the people are doing. However, cast your eyes in the street and the following are visible to identify. 1. We all know about the lighthouse. We live in the 21st century. Lighthouse should have been something for the Dark Ages. If we look behind us, we've got technology surrounding everywhere. The sun is shining. It shines more than 10 hours a day, which means we can make solar energy. Solar energy can go into investment, which at the end of the day, you reap the results. Which means you are not throwing money away, but you are putting money into investment, which at the end of the day, you can recover. And this is being done because, like in Germany, if, let's say for instance, you build a house, you don't need aluminum sheets. So the solar panel will build on it for you. Now, you don't have the money to pay for the solar panel. What the government do is, he install the panel for you, pay for the whole installment, then give it to you in installment, which means at every month, you might pay, maybe let's say for instance, Ghana 100 cedis. Now, the energy that the battery stores after using it for some time, if you still have excess, the excess that you have, you can still sell to the government. So the government takes the excess and deduct it from the money which you have to pay at the end of the month. So instead of paying 100, you pay about 80. Then at the end of payment, you see, the solar panel becomes your property. You can still sell the extra energy to the government. So you make an investment and you reap the results. This can be done. And it doesn't cost too much. We don't need rain. We have the sun every day. Why can't we go into it? That is one aspect of it. Unemployment and poverty. This is due to the bad education. If the education programs does not go in conformity with the material resources that we have, how do we go? Let me give you a perfect example. Let's say I come from America or whatever you must say. I come and teach you something about strawberry. We don't grow strawberry here. You learn everything you know about strawberry. Now I give you a certificate. Go and find a job. We don't grow strawberry here. So how will it work? That means all the education I gave to you was bullshit. Sorry for using that language. I'm sorry about it. Sorry. Sometimes the emotion rises up and it goes somewhere else. You see that thing? But if I have taught you how to use mango and you have finished the education, I don't have to teach you where you have to go in for the mango. You can go straight away, then you get it. So which means the material resources that you have, the education that you are getting, that's not going in conformity with it. How do we go forward? Our education programs will never come out. That's why it's happening. Third one, shelter. Walk in the street in the night, and you see how many people lies on the side street. Look across Market Circle, where the police station is. Just look on top of it. It's your own fellow brothers and sisters who are sleeping there. Is that what we want? Do we feel happy when we see these people? If we don't, what are we doing? It is our responsibility. It's not only my responsibility, it's your responsibility too. It is ours. So if we don't do nothing, nothing is coming. Now let's look at the solving of this particular problem. We have building materials. We have sand, we have gravels, we have bauxite, we have manganese. We can get metal and ions. What do we need? Technology is what we need. Instead of we going on the direction where we can get the materials to reproduce what we have in order to get the things that we need to build a nation, we go on different grounds. And at the end of the day, we start crying. But is that what we need? Or is that what we want? Now we come down to the mighty point, corruption. How does corruption come? Because it looks like corruption at the moment has become the key to surviving, due to the ignorance of the people from knowing their basic constitutional rights. Because if I know that when I'm coming to the office, I know what is my right in the Constitution. You know what is right in the Constitution. So if I'm coming down to your right, to the office, I know, okay, this one when I come there, I'm coming to pick it. I'm picking it straight and I'm going away. There is no need for me to put any envelope under any place. But because I don't have no idea in the constitution, and you know what goes on, the man is not there. So if you don't see whatever it is, it will take about a month or two before things can be done. If you use your brain, okay, I will see you. Go back, put it there, it goes. It has become our way of life. But is that the way we want? How far are we going to allow this to happen? It's a question most of the time that comes into my mind. Because today we are doing it. The next day we continue doing it. At the end of the day we find ourselves in the middle of it. Then we can't come out. But we have to come out. Coming out is not difficult to make it. It is a matter of we rewriting the Constitution. When the Constitution is educated, then we can get outside of it. But we'll come to that point later on. Then we come down to unhappy faces. Like when I see most of the people in the street, there are no smile. I don't understand why there's no smile. Because he's thinking about how he can get his cocoa car. Probably the kids haven't got nothing to eat. How will he put a smile on? But it is whose fault? It is those people at administration. If those people don't know what their left and right is, how will we be able to go forward? Sometimes I don't understand them because they are not there by themselves, but rather they are there in their political interest. So what their political parties will say is exactly what they go on to it. If the party says, go this way, he can't say no, because if he goes the other way around, next time they will remove him from there and he will lose whatever he has to get. So he has to follow the party's philosophies and ideas or whatever you can call it for. But he is there for the public. You see, how do we move? Now, we come down to another point. Political misunderstanding. Today, MPP is pointing fingers at NDC. Tomorrow, NDC is pointing fingers at MPP. The next day, this one is pointing this. The next week, this one is pointing this. It has been going on for a very long time, and we are not saying anything. Come on. What are we? What are we? Are we not the same Ghanaians? If I take the MPP cloth, I put it down. I take the NDC cloth, I put it somewhere. Am I not a Ghanaian? This is our own land. It is our nation. It belongs to us. It does not belong to MPP. It does not belong to NDC. We make politics not bring us to a point where we cannot do anything. I mean, let's reason. Do we need them? It's a question I keep asking myself. Do we need these political people? Do we need them? We come to it. Ignorance of the people. Why do I say ignorance of the people? If, let's say, for instance, 85% of the population, according to research, does not have any idea in the Constitution, how will you have a civilized society to rule? It will never be possible. There is no way NDC can come and do anything to put a smile on our face. And there is no way MPP can come and put a smile on our face if that particular problem is not solved. 85%. We are not talking about 25 or 30. 85. Only 15% knows what is written in the Constitution because they deal with it. You see, it's not only people who are not educated. We have people who are also educated but have no idea. I mean, how? However, besides these few mentioned problems, which are in governance due to politicians and politics, the other basic fact is they promise to uphold the Constitution. Our own politicians, they promise to uphold the Constitution, to respect the Constitution, to work with the Constitution. This is what they tell us, right? There is one basic fact here, and I'll quote. I don't know, because I have not read it anywhere. Maybe you are the media houses. You might point to me where I'm wrong. You tell me. This is quoted from the Constitution. It said, political parties shall be required by law to declare to the public their revenues and assets and the source of those revenues and assets, and to publish to the public annually their audited accounts. Unquote. I don't know whether this happens. Can somebody tell me? I don't know whether this happened. Do they, these political parties, did they put it into newspapers or they put it into the media houses that a common man can know that, oh, this party, they spend so much money during the year, they had the money from here and they did this. Are they doing it? Please. And if they are not doing it, where is the respect of the Constitution? This is what they promised to uphold. This is what they promised to come and take it. But no one is saying anything. No one. I mean, don't we think about this? They take us for granted, and still we follow them. Still we fight for them. Still we do everything that we can do. Some people even sacrifice their whole life to follow a political party, and at the end of the day, he doesn't get anything, but he will still follow. How far can we follow this? That's a question we have to think about. But I tell you why it is not done. This is not done because it will reveal all the loopholes within them and also their interest of satisfying their party and not the nation as a whole. Pondering over these stipulated facts make me wonder if really we need these politicians. Would their politics to build Ghana? If they had Ghana for 58 years of ruling, and still the above stipulated problems are in reality, then it's time for us to wake up from our slumber. For you and I as a Ghanaian, do not take this challenge. A time will come, it shall be a disaster. And I can see it coming. Trust me. I can see it coming. So it's time we open our eyes and we say, yes, now is the time for us to take whatever we have to take and take that the challenge. We can make it. We are Ghanaians. We can take it. Now it is in this light that the Sankofa demonstration, which is scheduled to take effect on the 18th of this month, was designed, which means on the 18th of this month, which is next week, Wednesday, we are going to have a demonstration. And what will be on the placard, I will give it to you when we finish with it so that you can have an idea of things that we would like to say to the public. Okay. What we need at the moment in Ghana, one, the wisdom and knowledge of our ancestors to comprehend the foundation they laid for us. With that mathematical equation, P1 plus P2 equals to C, which will guide us in establishing a proper system of governance. Ghana needs Ghanaian investors and not political investors. Technology and not political jargons. We need a new constitution that is written from the constituencies, but not by a referendum. A new education system that matches both the human and material resources that we have in the country. With these 5 highlights, there is a possibility of we making the first step. To throw more light, I would like us to take a look at the Constitution again and stipulate. The sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the power of government are to be exercised, in the manner and within the limits laid down in this Constitution, quoted from the Constitution. Simply put, P1 plus P2 is equal to C. You might be wondering what is P1 and what is P2 and what is C. Now, the P1 is the people. The P2 is the power of the people. And the C is the Constitution. Which means if you take the people, the power from the people and put it together, it enshrines in the Constitution, and the Constitution becomes the only book that the people will have to live by it. So it is very necessary that the people should have an idea of whatever it is stipulated in the Constitution so that they can live in the country and do what they are supposed to do. But this one is not being done. Because like if you look at the Constitution that we have, I would say it was a draft Constitution. But with the time, there have been a lot of amendments. Why am I saying a draft Constitution? I can't remember that time I was young, when Rawlings came. And it was a time when we were facing droughts and difficulties by food. So I can't remember he went to the World Bank for money. And they told him that they don't support military government. So if it would be possible to change the military government to civilian rule, they will be able to give him every assistance that he will get. Then the Constitution was written. There is where we made a referendum, calling some people to come together and write a Constitution. So we do not have the time to take the Constitution to go to the constituencies for them to debate on it. Because there are a lot of things in the Constitution which need to go out because we don't live with it. We don't even know, we don't even abide by it. So why should it be there? We are not in the PNDC law. But if you read the Constitution, at the end of it, it states PNDC blah blah blah. It's time, it's already gone. Why do we still need it? Which means a new one had to be written. And that new one, everybody, every citizen should be in the position of knowing by reading whichever language you might come from. You see, because we've got the Bible in different languages. If people can read the Bible and understand it, then people can also read the Constitution and understand it. We put it in the way that they can understand it. Then we can start making up a good environment for the society. Okay. Research revealed that more than 85% of the populace, both educated and uneducated, do not have any idea in what is written in the Constitution and therefore do not live with it. It also continues to reveal that 85%, instead of having time to look into the Constitution, to know and understand what is expected of them as Ghanaians, they rather spend their time looking through the Bible to look for what they have no idea. Here, their interest stems from the fact that they have lost interest in politics. And once they have lost interest in the political leaders, they will not even think about it. So we can forget it. But in whose credit does it go? It goes into our credit. That's why we are crying. You see, if we develop the interest of knowing what the basics for us, then there's a possibility of we moving and going forward. Now, with the majority of the people being ignorant in what is supposed to be the necessary for contributing their part as Ghanaians, there is no way Ghana shall have a government that will wipe away corruption, unemployment, poverty. The three most important of the numerous problems facing the land. And instead, build a better education and health system, housing facilities to the common people, talent development platforms, and above all, a civilized society where citizens are proud to be called a Ghanaian. Now, for the government to function properly, we have to start from somewhere. The problems we all know, but how do we come to the solutions? Because it's the solutions that will bring us forward. Now, let's look at some of the solutions. First, we said the Constitution. We all know why the Constitution is more important. Because if the people don't know their basic rights, there is no way you, the government, can tell them anything that they can follow. Because the government will go this direction and the people will be coming from that direction. In that sense, we don't go anywhere. In that sense, we don't go anywhere. So, in this wise, the Constitution, it is necessary that we rewrite the Constitution. And it should be from the constituencies. Because from the constituencies, we can get diverse ideas. And that makes it to be democratic. But if you write a constitution by taking some few people and put them down and accept it, put it on us that we should accept it. I mean, you are forcing me to accept something I don't have no idea. And at the end of the day, if I offend that same thing, you will tell me that ignorance of the law is no excuse. But when you were passing the law, I was not there. You did not educate me. So how will I know which law that you passed there? You see the point? Educate me, let me know what is happening. Then I will advise myself whether to offend it or not to offend it. And that one, if I offend it, I know that, okay, this is what I'm expected to see, to get for what I have done. But if I don't have no idea, and you blame me for that, how do I understand it? You see, so most of the things that we have in our laws and in our constitution, we need to wipe most of them out. It is time for us to look into things and take all those things that we don't need them, we take them away. It is due the time. We have to wake up now. Now we come to the election of candidate. Like we are saying, we should wipe politicians away from the society. If we wipe the politicians away from the society, how do we rule? Or which government do we go into? That might be the questions that is answering some of you, I guess. Now, if I look at it, our ancestors, they had their own way of ruling. But unfortunately, the way they were doing things were not written. And because it was not written, it is hard to trace. I went through the internet to look for possible ways where we can rule and everybody can be all right. I saw democracy, I saw communism, I saw socialism. These were the three powerful something that I could see. It was like every Senate house have got 4 walls, right? And that 4 walls, if you look at it from the word north, south, east, and west. So the north represent Europe, south represent Africa, west represent America, and east goes out for Asia. So if you look at it from a political point of view, right? The north, which was Europe, started with the socialism. Although all the political ideas came from Greece, but talking about the practicing, Europe started there with the socialism. It didn't function. Then east followed it up with the communism. It also didn't function somehow of a way. Then the west followed up with capitalism or democracy. It's also not functioning. They think it's functioning, but it's not functioning. Now the question that came is, what about the south, which is Africa? What were we practicing? We have seen democracy, we have seen socialism, we have seen communism. But what was the Africans practicing before the white people entered into Africa? There's no information. I tried to Google Africanism. The only thing I could get was a little bit information about Pan-Africanism. And the whole thing comes down to Pan-Africanism, which means the consciousness of Africanism is missing, which is not there. And if one of the walls are missing, how would you build a house? Is there a way we can build a house with 3 walls? It's not possible. And what is also not really, making it more difficult is, what is missing is the foundation of that house. And if you don't know the foundation, which house are you going to build? Maybe the foundation was meant for a skyscraper. You are building a 2-story building, which means you have wasted the foundation. Maybe the foundation was meant for 1-story building. You're trying to build a skyscraper. Where will you go? You will not go anywhere. And that's exactly what is happening to us in the moment in the world. There is no country that can say, politically, we are free, and everything is moving very nice. Go to Germany, go to America, they are all suffering. Ours are the basics because we are followers. You see the point? But do we have to follow them and make the same mistakes that they are making? Or we can look a different direction and get something different? Today, we are going to look into a different thing. It's not something that we don't know. It's something that we know. We all know, but we never talked about it. So today we'll think about it. Now, we're talking about how to make election to elect candidates. For some time now, it is the political parties that mount the platform, then introduce their leaders, and their leaders tell us their manifestos and all the things that they want to do. I hope I'm right. Now, the party is investing money into it. So when you invest money into that particular issue, automatically, when this person goes to parliament, that person is not there for the constituency, but rather he is there in the interest of the party. So if it's the interest of the party, whatever goes in the constituency, he doesn't even care. Because it is not the constituency that brought him to the place. He has forgotten that it was a constituency that voted for him. You see the point? But because the party organized a platform for him, he is responsible to go there. Then my question comes is, do we need such a person when we are in the constituency? Do we need such a person? We don't need such a person. Now, what we need is the state will have to wake up. The state is still sleeping. And if we don't wake the state up, there is no way we can go forward. So the state will have to wake up. And when the state wake up, then the state can mount the platform in the various constituencies. Call the people in the constituency to elect their candidate. When that one is done, automatically, maybe about 10 or a lot of people will come, but we can choose the best out of them. You see the point? The leader of that particular group which we choose, who go to the parliament, the other ones that came with him, they were equally good, but probably didn't have the qualities of being a leader. We don't throw them away to go. We keep them, and they form a committee. So this committee will always advise the member of parliament anytime he comes down to the constituency. You see the point? So whatever information he has in parliament, he brings it down to the constituency, he hands it over to them. They also compile all the informations within the constituency, pile them up, the good things that they feel that it should go to the parliament, they discuss it, and they give it to him. So it's like information is moving from the constituency to the parliament, it's moving from the parliament to the constituency. So there's always a basic discussion going on. If we can do this for all the constituencies, then it means that we have got a very powerful people in the parliament. And here, what is good is they are not there to think of their party interests, but they are there in the interest of the state and the constituency. You see the point? It is not money that brought them there, so they don't have to think about how to pay that money back. It is the state that brought them there. You see the point? It is not their popularity that brought them there, but it is their wisdom and their knowledge and how they mobilize people from the place that brought them to that place. So we must have the right people to be in parliament. Now let's come down to how do we elect ministers. Okay, what we do is the winning party, the president, he elects, he appoints his ministers and he screens them in the parliament. We all know that in parliament, there's a majority. The majority is always in the party, then it's just automatic. There's no way you run away from it. So now what we see is, we are not going to follow the same format, but we're changing the format. Now the state is calling people. He is calling for a minister of finance. If you are a Ghanaian and you know anything about finances, it's time for you to serve the nation. Come forward. You see the point? The state is calling his people. So if you know anything about finances, the nation is calling you to come forward. At the end of the day, we might get about 10 applications. All applications received through the newspapers, through advertisement, whatever it is, but that we can make the noise to see that the state needs this. It is the state speaking. You see the point? Then we can get a minister for finance. That minister for finance will go to parliament will screen, tell whatever it is, then decide, okay, this person wins to be the minister, but the other people that comes with him will also be formed as a core, as a committee core, which will be advising the minister. So we go the same process for all the ministerial cabinet. At the end of the day, you have a better minister cabinet and you have a parliament. Then we come down to how do we pass budget. Most of the time what we know is the government elect goes down to the various government institutions, pick up all their expenditure and all those countries, then compile them up, put up whatever they want to add to it, then present to the parliament. This is what has been done. But if we do it this way, how do you know what the people need? You don't even know the people's voice. So what will you build for them? You see the point? In this case, the budget is passed 2 times. One from parliament and one from the ministerial cabinet, which means we in the parliament is the voice of the people. So I tell you what I want, then you being the minister cabinet, you are a worker. You see the point? So you tell me how much money I've got with request to what I'm looking for. If it doesn't correspond, then I say, okay, maybe I'll come the next day. You see the point? So our voice need to be more important than even the government, because the government works for the voice of the people. But this power has not been realized, and it is time for us to realize this power. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to realize this power. It is ours. We need to utilize it. That's the only way Ghana can move forward. That's the only way when we travel outside, we can take pride that we are Ghanaian. Most times people are running away. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from America. Where are you from? I'm from here. You are running away from your own country. Why do we have to do it? Just because back at home, it's not like the way it's supposed to be. But we make the home. I cannot do it alone. But when we come together, we can make it. I'm talking about, we all know that if we talk about a nation, we're talking about human resources and material resources. The material resources is the land, and the human resources is the people. When we put these two people together, then we have a nation. Now, if I say I want to educate the people, I need to know what kind of materials do I have. Then based on that materials, I can put the education programs across. But if you look in our case, we still have a lot of minerals or a lot of things that has not been recognized or that have. There is no possibility for us to be able to there is no way we might be able to do what we have to do. So like I said, we need to know the material resources that we have, then based on it, we can do the education program. We really want to get our people, especially the youth, be in the position of taking the country into their hands. Then it means that there is a need for us to set up education programs that matches our resources. With that way, there's a possibility that we can go forward. So my humble message here today is that it is not only my responsibility in making the nation to be the way it has to be, but each and every one of us. It's everyone's duty. It's all of us. We all have to put our hands on it. But if we say, it is all of us, our responsibility. Our responsibility to make the nation to be the way it is. But if we say we are going to go behind politics, we might not go anywhere. The only way forward is by wiping them out of our society. With this message, I come to the end. I thank you for sharing your day with us, and I believe we shall come to one understanding. This time around, not with politics, but as Ghanaians. Thank you again, and have a blessed day. If there are any questions that were bothering you or buffering you along the line while I was talking, please feel free. Yes.
Thank you. During your presentation, you made mention of something that I want you to clarify for me, because you mentioned rightful people, those who might be elected or go to parliament. Okay. And I don't understand that phrase. If you could please rephrase it or highlight it more for me to understand it, because I understand that people who go to parliament are elected through these elections. They nominate them, or people go and then endorse them, even when they are coming from their political parties. Yes, so if you say rightful people, then I mean that if I vote for this person,
he's not the right person.
No, if I vote for this person, I know that he's the right person. Okay. But somebody there will say he's not the right person, but at the end, he's the one who leads or will be voted for. So could you please highlight that?
No. Mr. Kwesi, right. He is a very noble man with a lot of wisdom and knowledge, but he hasn't got no money, right. He is not all that particular type that goes around opening the mouth to speak a lot. He is somebody who is very calm, but watches situations and knows what goes on. Now, because Mr. Kwesi don't have that money to mount that platform, the wisdom that he has will keep it away. It goes away from it. You see the point? Now, Mr. Ajiman comes over down here. He might be from MPP or he might be from NDC, right? They have money. So the party comes, they spend a lot of things. But we all see the way they do. They give t-shirts, they give food, they give drinks, they give all these things, right? Ghanaian at that instant is taking off his stomach in that particular instant, takes it and he sees it to be the bad, the real person, right? Meanwhile, this Mr. Ajiman probably does not even have no idea about what goes on in the constituency. The party just brought him there. So he has to come and affiliate himself to the people, right? Such two people, I'm just taking only two, I will not make it four to confuse us. Just these two people. Which one of them, when he has opportunity to go to the parliament, will really execute what goes on in the constitution? But he didn't have the right. He didn't have the platform. So now we are creating a platform where whether you are rich or poor, whether you belong to a party or don't belong to any party, you can have that opportunity to come to that place and tell the people what you can do. Whilst doing it, the people will have the opportunity to ask you questions. Are you getting me? Like for instance, you tell me that, oh, I'm going to build a bridge from PNT to Embassy Hotel. How is the bridge going to look like? Because there's no river. There, I can ask you a question. But the politicians, when they come demand a platform, they say whatever they have to say. Do we have the opportunity to ask them any question? We don't. Those that have the right to ask them questions, they are people that are within their circle. But the common man, have you ever seen any common man having the opportunity to ask a political leader any question within the public? It's not very easy to come with. Are you understand where I'm coming from? So in order for us to get the right people, the state will have to wake up. Then politics need to go out. If I'm clear, I take the next one. Yes, madam.
Affairs and take over themselves, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you term this type of
System of government.
yes?
That's why I said
You are not straightforward.
okay, that's why I said something like Africanism.
Africanism.
Africanism is the kind of system which is out of reach. You can never find it anywhere. You see the point? It's only when you can get some bits and pieces from different places and you can put them together to realize the way it is. But that's the way it was. Yes, sir.
Before royal, should I say, villages, towns, and the rest. We don't have a country like anywhere, the villages and the rest. The country has gone through a mill from colonial rule to military rule and now to democracy.
Okay.
And you are saying that we should sound offer, then go back for it. Are we going back to the royal system? How do you term it, Africanism or whatever?
Okay.
Or
Okay.
if military or which one?
No.
Is it, which
Okay.
one are we going back
Okay. The history. Then I'll go back to the history of the old Ghana Empire. Right. The old Ghana Empire was able to unite. The people lived in harmony for over 500 years. My question was, what did they do? How were they able to live for over 500 years in peace and harmony among themselves? That's the question I put in myself. So I started digging. You see, when I dig, I realized that the name Ghana itself is not a country. It means a prince. According to the history, the name Ghana itself is a prince. So it was a prince after some time when he realized that he was going to die. But then his glory has gone everywhere. And it's okay. For me to die in peace, I would like to use my title as a name for the country. So then they changed that name. So Ghana means a prince. Now I look into it. Why should it be a prince? You see the point? Then I come to the fact that Ghana is a selected country where the God of Africa have got their eyes on it. And they know that Ghana is the only country that can lead the world to the new promised land which is coming. But then if we have to lead them, then it means that we need to know our basic things. There are only basic things that we have to know. If we know those basic things, we know ourselves. The unity comes. When the unity comes, there is nothing we can do. Everything that we want to do, we might not even wait for the government to come and give us what we have to give us, but straight away we go into it. So the Africanism is something which has been practiced, which has been there for a very long time. The meaning of it is the root to humanism. You see the point? It's a root to humanism. And once it's a root to humanism, and once all human beings, the first human being according to archaeologists, if I'm wrong, please correct me, they said it was found in Africa. So if the first human being, the bone of that particular person was found in Africa, if the first city ever built in the world was also found in Africa, then what were the Africans doing before the colonial masters came in? Whatever we did is what they copied. And now we are copying from what they are doing. Do we have to copy them? If they are copying from what we did, then do we have to copy from what we have done? No, we need to move forward. And the only way we can move forward is to wipe these politicians out. Wiping them out does not mean that it's going to be chaos. No, it is the state which has to wake up. The state will have to take its responsibility. And when the state takes its responsibility, and you and I, we can also see our responsibility. But where the state does not take it, then where do we go?
For the state to decide, that's why we vote.
Good. That's why we vote. So we and we have to come together to bring up one idea that this is what we want to do and this is what we are going to do. Then we go for the vote, then we are coming.
I mean, how are we going to organize that?
We have the state, right? The Supreme Court is at the moment, when the president is not there, he's in charge of it till the president comes. Or is that the way you go? So if there's Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court can say, like the same way he told the Electoral Commission that the elections should be suspended till indefinite, it was suspended. The same Supreme Court can say, okay, the elections are not going to be organized in this way, but we are going to go and organize the elections in this way. In 2016, it's an election year.
So are you calling on Supreme Court to take a decision on this?
That's why we are here. That's why we're starting. Here is like to introduce to the media what we want to do on the 18th of this month, which is a demonstration. After the demonstration, we will file our application in the Supreme Court, and we tell the Supreme Court what is happening. And they have to wake up. No, we have to wake up. I mean, we can't just sit on concern. Wait, does he know how it is back there? It's not like we just stand with you and we're picking on the dollars or the euros. No. Sometimes you don't even have a place to sleep. You see the point? So it's time for us.
Now for the Ghanaians to go back to it. You are speaking English.
I'm speaking English because it is one language that we can all can understand. If let's say for instance you speak Ewe and I speak Fanti, how are we going to have communication?
How do you know that ordinary man here?
But the people who are here, I know they all speak English because we are the media men that send information, that transform the information to the other. At the end of the day, they will see that, hey, this guy is already there. This is the point. So we have to join them, mingle with them. At the end of the day, when we come down to where we want to reach, then we can say, okay, we are voting for this language. Then there will be no confusion because now, if I start speaking Ewe, and why are you speaking Ewe? Me, I speak Fanti. This one will say, me, I don't speak Fanti. Me, I speak Nzema. Then the confusion comes. So at the moment, I think we should choose the English too, so that we can get easy access to communicate. Yes, sir. No, let me.
Okay. But I want to know what prompted you to come up with these ideas. In fact, very fantastic ideas. What prompted you?
Okay. To come straight to the point, the mother of my grandma sells tomatoes and whatever it is in the market, and the mother of my father sells was a queen mother. So from her, I could learn the way the African traditional, like this village ruling, the way they do their things and how they organize themselves. Then from my mother's mother, there I could also learn what is in the Bible. So I found myself in the midst of two things. Then I asked myself, what do I want? I didn't know what I want until the time I passed by a place and I realized that there was a man sleeping in the street. He hasn't eaten for about weeks and nobody even cared. I walk by another place, I see the kids throwing food away. And I keep asking myself, if there is a God, why should somebody lie down in the street not having food to eat and somebody getting enough food and throwing it away? That God, I need to find him. That is when I started looking for him. So I have to go through all the religions to read about this and this and this and this and this to find where there could be a kingdom which the people can say, okay, this is the kind of kingdom that we are looking for, and that's where we want to go and stay there. But there was nothing like that. So I have to come back to the same question, if there is a God. Today I found myself that in Ghana here there is a God, but we don't see that God because we don't even have no idea about it. The God we know is the God of Israel. That's a God in the Bible. But the fact is, you were born here. Here is where you took the first breath. And if you took your first breath,
contact number. Now you can see the name of the organization. The name of the organization.
the number.
The name. Yeah.
The name. You have my number. I gave it to you yesterday. It doesn't matter. So when we have a demonstration, people will go in the placards and these are the inscriptions which will be on it for people to be aware of what is going on.
So, what message are you trying to give? Because the concept that you preached over here, I look at it as something that you want, something that you have sat down and you want to initiate it in the country. And I also want to suggest something. If something that you want the media to put across, I know there could be a writer to any appropriate place that you can channel your grievances. That is what I also want to see. But then the concept that you are bringing, I will see you and then we'll talk. Thank you very much.
That's what our ancestors were doing.
What were they doing?
Yeah, this is Africanism. This is what we're trying to bring it out. And that's the way they were making their elections. So like instead of Africanism is broad. That is good. But like, in a normal circumstance, we have here like those days we didn't have no parliament. We had elders. See the point? Those times we didn't have no something like president. We have a father or a leader of the clan, a pain or something of that nature. These are the kind of names that we were given. But now we have come into the modern world. Now the population has increased. You see the point? So we can't use that same thing. So what we have to do is we have to look at to something like, for instance, democracy. Democracy itself, if you look at it, it has two ways. One way is capitalism, and the other way is the nationalism. The capitalism way is where the business people within that particular country, they make the investment and they have something to say. Whilst if you don't have money, you don't say anything.
So why do you want us to go back?
The fact is, if we see that what we have left behind is exactly what we are looking for, I don't see why we don't have to go back and take it.
Within a 12 it's a process.
If we say we want it done, it can go very fast, especially elected to go to the party. We are doing it every day. We do it every day. We can do the same thing. The only thing is there's only a switch. Instead of the politicians mounting the platform, the state mount the platform. That is only this makes all the difference. And why the state has to mount the platform in that way, then that particular person cannot be influenced by any political ideology, cannot be influenced by any money or by anybody else. Then he is solely for the state and the country to make us to go forward. But without that, trust me, we will continue sinking.
Do you think the politicians will give their blessings to this kind of system?
It is up to you and me, because you and me are the politicians. Maybe you might be NPP, I might be NDC. So are we prepared to give that one up and build Ghana? If we say yes, then it's very easy. But if you say no, we don't want to put that clothes on, we still want to wear, then we don't have to complain.
Then we should go back to colonial days. Now we have so many subjects in the country. We have a tool in the western region. We also have our own kings. In all the regions, you have a parliament chiefs over there. Who is going to be the leader?
We are not going back to the way the kings they rule. No. We are just following democracy. It is not far from it. It is democracy with nationalism.
So, are we still going to have a president, or we are going to
have a father of the land?
And who is going to choose that father?
The father will choose the father ourselves. A lot of statements that we have. Some of them has ruled the country before. Some of them haven't done before. Some of them know every corner of it. So we can put all the statements around. We choose one person to be our leader, to be our father. Straight. It is still democracy. Everybody is saying whatever he wants to say.
Chief, I also saying that the executive desk.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
All the powers are going to be the way it is. But all the powers are going to be elected. Which means there is nothing like appointment, like I'm appointing this person to go there. No. We need the right people in the right offices. So if in this office you are not performing, but meanwhile in that office you can perform very good, why don't you switch? You are still a Ghanaian. We switch you. Where you are good, we take you there. Where you are not good, we get the right person to be there so that things can move.
So if it's the presidency, the presidential candidates, we are going to advertise whatever.
We advertise Ghana need a father. So we take a father from the Minister of Council of State. They are there. We can pick one of them, which we see that, oh, this person have knowledge of it. Which means it doesn't mean that when we elect you to come office, you can do what you want. No. If you don't perform, we take you out and we bring somebody again. It is the people who are deciding, not the individual or a group. It is the people who are deciding.
Why now? Why now?
This is what I have to learn. I have to convince before I can come and convince you. So when I'm not convinced, there's no way I can convince you. But when I'm convinced, then I can convince you. That's what I'm doing now.
Were you prompted by the economic conditions of the country?
I must say no. But like I've been traveling a lot of places. Most of the time, like I was in America, I studied their democracy. The reality of what is really happening. Like in Amsterdam, I live in Germany for almost 20 years. So there, I studied most of the countries that I go. I studied their political, whatever they are doing, the way they live their life, what's going on, what can be done, and all those things. The last place I went was Seychelles, and from Seychelles I could see clearly the way everything is. So from there I said, if that be the case, then we can do this because it's a very good idea. And if we put it into across something that we can do. And if you can do it, why don't you just go ahead? So I started talking to people about it. And anybody that I speak to, if sees that, hey, this is exactly what we need. What are we doing? That's okay. You are motivating me. Then the motivation started. today I'm here. Next week, we'll go for the demonstration and we'll see where it's going to carry us to, because we need to save Ghana. And if we don't do it, the generation that will come in, they put the blame on us. This is the same way we are putting the blame on the people ahead of us. You see that thing? So let's come together. We can come together and do it. We can always talk. It's our own house. We can always talk. Let's talk. Let's talk to see how best we can make it. Not only every day we are looking for the problems. No.
Hello. Maybe who are homemakers? The group. Yeah, if you can tell us something about the group, the mission, the group, something about the group.
What is non-political, NGO, non-governmental organization. Our main aim or our philosophy is to see that we create a better home for the common man, because we see that the common man most of the time don't have anybody who listens to his voice. So for the common man's voice to be heard, we need to have a home. That's why we came with the idea, the homemakers. So our interest is to make homes for everybody. That is our interest. Any other thing?
They should build in their house.
I sacrifice for it. So when things go like the way I'm looking at it, there's a possibility of getting funding from Germany.
Are you not also creating your own lucrative venture?
I'm not creating anything lucrative. Whatever I'm doing in the interest of the country. Because if not be the case, like the money I'm using to do these particular programs, I could have used it to buy a car and drive in. But I didn't buy the car. I'm using it to organize this because I know that the common man sitting there, no one cares about him, but I care about him and I want him to eat. So I need to do it. And that's why I'm fighting for it. Even if I have to die for it, I'm prepared to go for it.
So where do you come from? Have you been outside the country?
I come and go, but I would say
20 years.
But I come and go. It's like I've been trying to go.
Is this NGO? Is it a
It's a Japanese-based NGO. But it's our place, it's our family.
It is a Japanese-based NGO.
Yes.
Excuse me. Now,
It's non-governmental.
Non-governmental on what?
It goes on social, like I was saying.
It goes on social.
Like on the 18th, we're going to have this demonstration. The idea of the demonstration is to make Ghanaians to be aware that the time for the politicians to do whatever they want to do has come to an end. And it is the responsibility of every Ghanaian to see that Ghana is ours and does not belong to the politicians. And if Ghana is ours, then there's a need for us to wake up, take the country into our hand and build it like the way we want to build it. So I will plead to all citizens of Ghana to see the importance of whatever we are going to do in a demonstration. We are not going to demonstrate for any fight. We don't want to fight anybody. We are not coming with arms and ammunition. We are coming with the wisdom of our ancestors. They will guide us for us to lead Ghana to where it's supposed to go, because Ghana has been selected as a nation to lead the world into the new world. And this, I believe, we can all do it together. So let's all join hands together and make it better. Thank you.